Welcome to Nikki Jo Budgets. We're finally here, episode 1. This has been a long time coming and I'm so glad we're finally here. On this channel, we'll be discussing bills, budgets, and blessings. We'll be doing cash stuffing, we'll be doing savings challenges, and we'll be planning our budgets together. This is a journey to financial freedom, and I'm so happy that you're here on this journey with me. And it's been a long time coming to get to where we are right now. So I first started cash stuffing probably about 9 years ago. And when I stick with it, it works, and it works really well. Unfortunately, I've fallen out of my good habits and into some bad habits, which has caused a lot of spending on things that were not necessary, very frugal spending. I don't know if that's the right word I want, but I think it is. And I have racked up some debt. So we are going to stop the reckless spending, go back to cash stuffing, go back to our budgets, and go back to what works for me, what has worked for me for a long time. I know from experience that this works great and with consistency and dedication. And it's just like any habit, like working out, eating healthy, consistency is the key. So we've got to be consistent, got to be dedicated, got to stick with it. For me, though, budgeting is fun. So I don't know why I stopped doing it. It's a lot of fun for me. I like the organization part of it. I like the figure it out part of it. I love math. So, I've got all of that going for me here. And it makes it a lot of fun. It's kind of like therapy for me. So anyways, I decided to finally start my channel. It's something I've wanted to do for years. I don't know why. I've just kept putting it off, derailing myself, distracting myself. Here we are, ready to start. There are 3 main reasons for me to do this channel. Number 1, accountability. If I'm doing this channel, I'm accountable to all of my subscribers, everybody who's watching, and makes it a little bit harder to fall off. Number 2, I want to show others how it can be done no matter what your income is. You don't have to have a lot of money to do cash envelope stuffing. You don't have to have a lot of money to budget. You just have to have the right tools and knowledge on how to do it. Hold on 1 second here. I need to adjust my camera and I don't want to. There we go. Sorry about that. It was getting a little too jiggly. Okay, sorry. Episode 1. Got to work out the wrinkles, right? Anyways, number 2 was to show others how you can do cash stuffing, how you can budget, not have to have all this extra money to be able to save. I watch a lot of cash stuffing videos out there in our community, our cash stuffing community on YouTube, and a lot of people have that extra Etsy money and YouTube money and different funds and combined incomes and all that kind of stuff. And I don't have any of that. We're only working with what I have to work with. No extra. My full-time job is it. So it is possible, it is doable, and I want to show everybody how. And I think that's all 3 things. Accountability. Oh no, the 3rd thing, it's because it's fun. I love budgeting. I think it's fun, and hopefully you'll find that it's fun too. Before we get started, I do want to throw in a disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not paid. I'm not a professional. I'm only showing you what works for me and what I have learned over the years that works for me. So I want to make sure that you understand that. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. If I don't know, I will tell you I don't know and send you to, I don't know who to send you to, but you've got Google. There's financial advisors out there. I'm neither. I'm just going to teach you what I know works for me. So that all being said, this is going to be a lengthy video. There's lots to learn in the very beginning, and I want to make sure I cover everything. So grab a snack, get something to drink, get comfy, and let's go. The first thing we're going to talk about are some terms to know in this cash stuffing world. And a lot of terms are used, and I just want to make sure that we all are on the same page here. So let me zoom in a little bit so you can see. The first thing we're going to talk about are fixed expenses. Fixed expenses are costs that remain consistent and do not change month to month. So some examples of fixed expenses would be rent, mortgage, car payment, car insurance, your phone bill, your utilities, things that are every month, same cost, same expense. They don't change. Next, we're going to talk about are your variable expenses. Those are expenses that'll fluctuate month to month. So an example of a variable expense could be the gas for your car, your groceries, your household products, personal items, things that you still need every month, but the cost doesn't stay the same, it changes. Next will be, so these are your categories of expenses, your fixed expenses and your variable expenses. Within those, you will have high priority expenses and low priority expenses. Your high priority expenses are mandatory costs needed for basic living. So under a variable expense, for example, things that would change there would be like your groceries we talked about. That's a variable expense, but it's also a high priority. It's something you need for basic living. Okay. Then you will also have your low priority expenses, which are non-essential ones. So something that would be in a fixed expense that could be like subscriptions like Netflix, Hulu, things like that. That's a fixed expense. However, it's a low priority expense because it's non-essential. Okay. These things, when we get going and we start stuffing our envelopes and we start putting together our budget plan, this is all going to make a lot more sense. But I want you to know what these things mean as we're getting started. Next, I want you to know is a sinking fund. Sinking funds are funds set aside for future expenses, planned expenses, debt, or recurring expenses. So sinking funds can be that you're putting aside money for a vacation. It could be if you get your nails done. It could be for hair appointments. It can be a lot of different things fall under sinking funds. And when we get started and get going, I'll have better examples and be able to show you what some sinking funds are that I have. So basically all of your expenses when you are going to allocate your money to will be a fixed, a variable, or a sinking fund. Okay. And I guess I didn't really explain what the cash envelope stuffing is, and I just realized that. So let me back up a second. So the cash envelope stuffing is where we are going to put aside your money into different envelopes allocated for different things. So you'll have an envelope that would say gas, and you would put your gas money in there. So when it comes time to put gas in your car, you're pulling from that particular envelope because you have saved that particular money for gas. Okay, so every bit of your money gets allocated to something. So it's going to be your bills, your utilities, your fixed expenses, and then you're going to have your variable expenses, and then you're going to have your sinking funds. But everything's going to be in an envelope stuffed for a certain priority or a certain expense. Okay. I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but as we get going, it should make more sense. So let me move this up a little bit here. After low priority or after sinking funds, we've got our expenses, we've got our priorities here. Then we have what's called zero-based budgeting. I prefer to do zero-based budgeting. Not everybody does this in the cash envelope system. In the cash envelope community, everybody does things a little bit differently. I like zero-based budgeting. That means every dollar, every penny, every cent is assigned to a purpose. So I know exactly where every single bit of my money is going. Okay. Again, these terms are going to make more sense when we get going. I just need you to be familiar with what I'm saying. Next, we have the high yield savings account. A high yield savings account is a type of savings account that pays a significantly higher interest rate than a traditional bank account or a bank savings account. And they're usually offered by online banks or credit unions. I recommend Ally or Capital One. Those are the two high yield savings accounts that I have used and I think are very good. I don't know a lot more about them other than my experience with them. So if you need more information on a high yield savings account, I would recommend Google or a financial advisor, because I only know what my experience is with them, and we'll touch base on that as we get going. And then the last thing on the terms to know is a Roth IRA. So a Roth IRA is an individual retirement account that's separate from like your employer's retirement account if you have one through your employer. Okay. You can contribute your own money in there. Those contributions are not tax deductible. It's money that you're contributing after your income has already been taxed. Okay. It's a tax-free growth and tax-free withdrawals, and you don't start your withdrawals until you are over the age of 59 and a half, and then those withdrawals are free. I don't know a lot about a Roth IRA. I know what I just read to you, and that's the extent of it. So I would not be able to answer any questions on that. I have not myself started a Roth IRA. It is in my future plans to do so. So these are some of the basic terms that you're going to hear a lot about or hear a lot of on this channel, and I just want you to be familiar with those. And then there are some other terms that you need to be aware of. These are more of the fun terms. Let me make sure I've got you in my view here. So we're going to start with a cash envelope. So what exactly is a cash envelope? It's just that, an envelope that holds your cash, okay? It's labeled for a purpose or an intention, and it's where you're going to store or save your money. What is a cash binder? A binder is where you keep those envelopes and that money, designated by purpose or priority. I have both. I have priority binder, and I have variable expenses or sinking fund binders, and I will explain that to you more when we get going. Cash binders come in three different sizes that are typically used are the A5, the A6, and the A7. An A5, let me back this up a little bit here for you. An A5 is a small one, typically fits like in your purse. It's more of a little bit of a wallet size. And then this is what an envelope, one type of envelope is of a cash envelope would look like this, okay? And you'll label it or stick a label in here, and then you would put your cash in here as you're saving it. So let's say you're saving $5 and you're going to stick this in your envelope like that, and then it stays in your binder, and that's how that works, okay? And we'll get into some more details with that as we go. But this is what an A5 is, just a small little wallet size. This is an A6 binder. It's a little bit bigger. This is more commonly used in the cash envelope world. This one's all marked up. Don't pay attention to that. This is an old one. I don't use this one anymore. But this is what an A6 looks like. Same basic setup. And then well, hold on one second here. I'm going to get you an A6 envelope. I thought I had one sitting here, but I do not. So let me just get one real quick for you. So this is what an A6 envelope looks like. Same thing. Oops. And stick your money in there. You will label your envelope or put your challenge in here, and then it will hold your money. Just like that. Okay? These binders and envelopes are available on Amazon. That's where I get mine. If you want to look up, you would just put in your envelope size, A5, A6, A7, and an envelope. And it should pop up with these holes here pop out, and then it goes right in your binder. And then an A7 is a little bit bigger here. You know what? I think I just did that backwards. I think the A7 is the little one, and this is the A5. I totally did that backwards. This is A6. This is A7. This is A5. Sorry about that. Again, same basic concept, just this one is a little bit bigger, more of a notebook size. I don't know. I get them confused all the time. I always have to look up the difference, which one's the 7 and which one's the 5, because I always forget. I know the 6 because the A6 is what I use the most. So that's what a cash binder and cash envelopes are. Savings challenges. Savings challenges are individual challenges to help set aside smaller amounts of money at a time. So, for example, let's say you are saving for vacation. Well, you're not going to have all that money at one time. So sometimes we play these little fun savings challenges to put small amounts aside at a time. So on the savings challenge, it might be that we're going to save $2 every time we play it, or $3 every time we play it. And then that money stays in that challenge until you've completed the challenge. And then we allocate it to a sinking fund or one of our cash envelopes. Happy Mail. So some people in the cash envelope world consider Happy Mail to be the free stuff that they get sent to them by other budgeters. I consider Happy Mail to be any mail or orders that come to enhance my budgeting journey. And Happy Mail is so much fun to get. I order a lot of stuff on Etsy for my cash budgeting. And I'm getting ready to redo all of my binders that I've had for a couple, like probably 3 or 4 years now. They've been the same ones. I'm ready for new ones. I bought some stuff on Etsy and I've held it all back just for you guys so I can do some videos to show you the Happy Mail that came, and we'll redo all my binders on, I'll film the changing out my binders as well. So that's always something fun to watch for me, and I thought you'd like that too. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about on here is a budget planner. So a budget planner is a planner or a notebook that's used to organize where your money will be spent or allocated. I do have a budget planner. I have got all of the pieces to put together a new planner for 2026, and I have not put it together yet because I was waiting to get my channel started so I could put it together with you guys. So that will be coming soon. Yeah, I know it's almost March and I'm behind, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Now, that being said, you know all the terms. I've gone over the basics. I don't want you to think that you have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff and run to Amazon and spend a whole bunch of money to be able to do this. That is not necessary. The things that I have, I've gotten over time. When I first started, I started with the very basics, and that was a box of envelopes. So I want you to know that I have gone out to the Dollar Tree and I have purchased all the things that you'll need to get started, and it cost me less than $10. So I'm going to show you some things that you're going to need to get started, and shouldn't even say need. Things you might want to get. Again, I went to the Dollar Tree and for less than $10 got the things that we are going to use to get started. A box of envelopes. That's the first thing we're going to need. I got, well, where are they? Hold on, I'm coming. Some index cards. Lined or unlined, doesn't matter. These are 4x6. These are what we're going to use. I already have my basic notebook if you want to just get a regular notebook for your budget planning. I also found this at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. It is a calendar. This is a perfect place to do your budget planning on for your bills and utilities and things that are, your bills that are due by certain dates. So you can just get a calendar and you can write in when your bills are due. Another thing I found was this photo album. So for the photo album, I'll show you what we can do here. So let's say we are saving, we have a cash envelope and we want to save for our gas money. So we can write gas on here. And in this photo album, and just slide this in here. And then let's say we're going to save $5 for gas for right now. Out of this pay period, we're just putting $5 in. It slides right in there, and you've already started your first envelope. And this index cards, $1.25. Photo album, $1.25. $2.50, and you can get your first savings started right there. Okay, so that's one thing I wanted to show you. We can do the same thing with a box of envelopes. If you don't want to do it that way, you just take your envelopes and you can do the same thing. Just get an envelope out and you're going to write on here what you're saving for. Let's say we're going to save this one because we've got a hair appointment coming up and we want to save for our hair appointment. Right? What you're saving for, and put your money in the envelope. It's really that easy. This is how I started. Everything that I was saving, all my different sinking funds, my bills, I had rent written on one, I had utilities on one, and I just put my money in this envelope. And then to store my envelopes, a little school box. And I put my envelopes right in my school box, and that's how I started. Just like that. And I wrote on my calendar when my bills were due. I marked which days I got paid. And I would mark which days my bills were due, so that I knew that out of this paycheck, these bills had to be covered. Anything that fell before the next paycheck. So, and we'll go over that more with when we start doing our budget planner. But if you don't want to spend a bunch of money and you can't spend a bunch of money, because I know when I first started, I couldn't. And this is how I did it. I did it with Dollar Tree stuff. I did it with a small little calendar and a school box. I also found these fun little stickers at the Dollar Tree that I can put on the envelopes to make them fun. So, because I like things to be bright and fun. So, all of this, I also, let's see, what else did I get? Good. The envelopes, the box, the photo album. I got one of these to keep my cash in if I needed to, but I could also keep my envelopes in there. Everything for $1.25. So I spent less than $10. And then I got this plastic case, this plastic container in where the kitchen stuff is, with a lid, so that when I was done, I can put all my stuff. Well, my calendar fits in here if I take it out of this package. Let's just open this up. And we're going to take off just the calendar part here. I'm going to cut off just the calendar because this is where we're going to keep our bills. We're going to write when we get paid. We're going to write what our bills are. And then that can fit in here. And then our envelope, or I mean our photo album for our envelopes fits there. Our envelopes fit in here. Our index cards. Our stickers and our other envelope that we might need for our cash when we go to the bank to get our cash out. Everything fits right in here. Now this will fit in here. Oh, no it doesn't. I thought it did, but it doesn't. But we can take that out. We don't have to put it in there, but we can put our envelopes in there. Put the lid on it. Got a pen in there. Set it all aside. So when you're ready to get it out, when it's the next time to budget, it's all together. And again, all for less than $10. So if you think that cash budgeting and getting started is going to cost you a lot of money, it doesn't. You don't have to have all the big fancy fun stuff. And I'm sorry about all that jingling and the rocking of the camera there. Again, it's episode 1. Got to iron out the wrinkles here. Okay. So, I know your next question is going to be, how do you know how much money to put in your envelopes? And that is going to come to you in episode 2. So I thank you for being with me on the intro to how we cash stuff and episode 1, the basics. If you have any questions, please comment below and I will answer them for you. And I'll see you back for episode 2. Thanks, everyone.